It's the second week of August, traditionally a very quiet time for stories. Indeed, this and next week normally are dominated by stories about great white sharks that are seen off the beach of Bournemouth. This year, the tabloids are doing their best to talk about sun loungers and the battle between the Germans and the Brits. But actually, the government have decided, no, they are going to flood the news agenda all week. This is their small boats week. And it began with the utterly ludicrous and completely impossible idea that those that cross the English Channel will be sent to Ascension Island. It simply isn't going to happen, as I said to you very clearly, and indeed, that idea is now gone. But the new one follows a very good piece of journalism by the Daily Mail, where they went undercover and found some criminal solicitors who were prepared for up to £10,000 to falsify documents and to get people illegally into the United Kingdom. This has led to Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, fighting back tough. We are going to do such things. These people will finish up with life sentences. And it's the classic tactic of this Conservative government. As public anger grows, with 50,000 people now living in hotels and so much focus on the barge down in Portland Harbour, they make criminal offences even more criminal, with longer and tougher sentences. The numbers coming across the channel don't change one iota, but they're trying to show people that they're on their side. But does it actually work? Is anything really going to happen? Because, you know, what they've actually done is said, we're going to establish a task force to look into this. Well, joining me is Jerry Hayes, criminal barrister, and some time ago a Conservative member.
Oh, a long time before you were born.
Well, almost, Jerry. Yes. Almost member of Parliament. Now, look, let's face it, the Mail did a very good piece of work.
They did.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Right? And there are people out there who are registered as solicitors who are prepared to aid and abet lawbreaking.
Yes. They make defences up. They were offering tablets to people, antidepressants, to say, oh, you can do this, you can say this, when they knew these people were guilty of the offences. And it gives us all a bad name. The overwhelming majority of barristers and solicitors really work hard for their clients. But these people have trashed their clients. They've trashed their own profession. They've trashed the trust in the legal system, which is the cornerstone of our democracy.
No, it matters. It matters.
Of course it matters.
Trust in the system.
Of course it is.
Trust in solicitors and barristers.
Yes.
Matters. So the question, and I had an immigration lawyer in last week.
Yeah.
And his argument was, and we'll get to the sentences, whether they work.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, OK.
But his argument was that one of the problems that the legal profession faces, it's very bad at policing its own bad members.
No, it's not, actually. We've got the BSB, the people who sort of regulate us, and, you know, they over-regulate, unless there are one or two people who are bad eggs, and sometimes they don't do an awful lot about it.
Do these people get struck off, Jerry?
People do get struck off, but you've got, according to the Daily Mail, 40 firms are under supervision. These are people who are making up defences. They're not bending the rules. They're not actually saying, oh, well, the government's got it wrong and this is a loophole. That's fair enough. That's what lawyers do. It's for government to get it sorted out. They don't, of course, because people like Suella Braverman, who over-promises and under-delivers.
Hang on. Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, is a qualified barrister.
Yeah, but she wasn't very good.
No, but hang on, but she's part of your profession.
Yes.
And she's calling for tough action.
Well, look, the fact is, typically, she hasn't researched this. What I do, I say to my pupils, tit. Now, this is not what it sounds like.
No good.
Think it through. She hasn't thought it through. The only person she sent successfully to Rwanda was Boris Johnson, and he came back. Ascension Island is insane. It was another Boris Johnson.
I mean, that idea was nuts, and that was never going to happen.
But then she put it before the newspapers this week.
But what she knows, I know, that was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
You know, and I've made the point already.
Yes.
Second week of August.
Yes.
They want to dominate the headlines.
Yes.
They want to show a public who are very angry about what's happening, that they're doing something. But this situation, you know, anyone that saw those videos, those undercover videos, and the Mail, full marks to them, good journalism. You know, they want tough sentences. But we keep hearing, I mean, is a life sentence for fiddling documents the right crime?
Whoa, just a moment.
The right penalty?
No, whoa. The penalty exists. Common law offence of perversion of the course of public justice is common law. It has a life sentence.
Already?
So, of course it does. Of course, Braverman hasn't bothered to look at it. You're not going to get a life sentence for that, but the guidelines are about 7 years at the moment.
But what she's also playing into, Jerry, and this is important, is this government had an 80-seat majority.
Yep.
It did it on the back of a Brexit vote.
Yep.
Which was about, as much as anything, sovereignty, obviously,
Well,
but controlling borders, reducing numbers coming in.
Yeah.
That was legal numbers. But the illegal, some call it invasion, others say that language is too hard. But either way, this is a big hot topic around the country.
It is.
It began in 2018.
Yeah.
The numbers have doubled and quadrupled with every year that's gone by. So she is playing very, very much to the public's upset and anger. And here's the thing. From Boris onwards, it's the lefty lawyers, it's the judges that are stopping the government from doing
that
this.
is just so wrong.
But can you see that perception?
No, I don't see that perception because I'm in this world. There are no lefty lawyers who are breaking the rules. There are dishonest lawyers who are breaking the rules, and they're the people we must crack down on. They're the people who must go to prison. They're the people who must be named and shamed.
Your profession, will the CRA, one of your big bodies of your profession, will they strike these people off? Will they get sentences?
Well,
albeit maybe
it's
not.
Whoa. It's not a question of striking them off. It's not for the regulatory bodies. It's for the criminal courts. These people have committed criminal offences, and they will go to prison. How long for is a matter for the judges, but they must go to prison because they're tarring us all with the same brush. You go into a cab and people are saying, "Oh, Jerry, yeah, I know you. Oh, yeah, how can you defend someone you know is guilty?" I said, "If he tells me he's guilty, I can't because I'm misleading the court."
No, sure.
They think we make up defences. These jokers. No, they're not jokers. They're a disgrace to the profession. They really are. And they're undermining the profession and they're undermining democracy. They must be dealt with.
Final thought on the bigger picture of all of this. No question that the cross-channel migrant criminal trade is a major electoral issue.
Yeah.
Labour don't appear to have any answers to this whatsoever. In fact, they're divided and all over the place on it.
Yeah.
So potentially for the Conservatives, even though they failed completely, if they can send the right mood music to the electorate, it may do them, some real good in the Red Wall and places like that. And
it won't.
We're going to speak to Lee Anderson in a moment.
Yeah.
But all the while we have the ECHR, all the while we have the European Court of Human Rights, able to stop a plane. Hang on. There was a plane on the tarmac waiting to go to Rwanda that was stopped by a judge at 10 p.m. Strasbourg time.
Yes.
Isn't that a real obstacle to the government?
Yes, and we've been fighting against that, and we will succeed in that.
Will we?
Yes, we will. There's no doubt about that. EHCR is really, really, really important. I'm not going to cross-examine you, but you name me.
You do it for a living.
No, I do, I know. But not for this money. you know as well as I know that these guys do quite a good job. We've won most of the cases. I think it is totally mythical. I mean, you had someone like Dominic Raab say, get rid of it all, our problems will be solved. Not at all. We can actually stop all this. I think it's Article 35. I can't
Why do we want a higher court in Strasbourg filled up with people, many of them not even been legally trained, with the ability
I'm not sure.
With the ability to, because they're jurists, not judges, with the ability to overrule British law?
They're not overruling British law.
They can, though.
No, but they don't. That's the whole thing. There was a sort of about this. We could go into all sorts of boring detail. But at the end of the day, they were just saying, well, let the appeal process go through in Britain first. That's the most important thing.
All right.
So Britain first, you agree with that? We've taken back control, Nigel Farage.
Jerry Hayes hasn't convinced me totally, but he's made the arguments. But at least we do agree on one thing, which is the rotters in the profession, shown up perfectly, beautifully by the Daily Mail, need to lose their licences and be booted out. ECHR will probably debate for years to come.